my project, I wanted to look at how women were perceived in literature, but I didn't want to look at just the conventional woman. I wanted to look at female characters that stood out because of the different roles that they had that were always expected for them at their time. So I was inspired by this idea after reading Antigone and Macbeth, and I wanted to compare older novels to more modern literature. So the two books I read were Medea and The Awakening. Medea is about a woman who gives up everything she has for the man she loves, Jason, and they get married, have 2 kids, and after that, Jason leaves her for a younger and richer woman. So then in The Awakening, it's about Edna, who one summer discovers that she's not living her life to her full potential. She goes home and she undergoes a full lifestyle transformation and feels guilty about that and eventually commits suicide. So the two authors of these books are very different, but there was one striking similarity that I found after reading about both of them. Both of them were described as before their time. So they were not celebrated, and these novels weren't celebrated until much later. And so Euripides was described as before his time because he had morally complex characters. Medea could either be viewed as someone who was crazy and looked like a witch, or as someone who looked like a goddess. And these two authors had different ideals of what Medea was because of their different life experiences. Frederick Sandys cheated on his own wife and ended up remarrying the younger woman, much like Jason and Medea. So in The Awakening, Edna's decision to commit suicide in the end can also be viewed in 2 different ways after reading this article that I had for my 3rd critical source. It could either be viewed as cowardly or as a final act of rebellion, as her refusal to give in to the society's wishes and expectations. So in both these novels, children play a really important role. And Medea ends up killing her children to get revenge on Jason. And she says that she loves her children and she feels really bad about the death, but the happiness she gets from knowing that Jason is also sad is enough to compensate for that. See, Edna feels really guilty about leaving her children, but eventually the suicide that she commits is because of that guilt that she feels because she left her children. They were also, Medea and Edna were both alienated from society. Medea didn't choose to be alienated, but she was banished at the end of the novel, and there was also social alienation, as everyone thought she was crazy. Edna decides to be alienated. She wants to leave this society and people around her, and eventually her final act of leaving is committing suicide. And in both novels, there are also the perfect woman, but these perfect women ended up sparking the change in the protagonist. See, Glauce is the younger woman that Jason ends up marrying, and Adele is this perfect woman who's Edna's friends with, who convinces Edna that this isn't the lifestyle that she wants to live. So also in both of these novels, there's a character that sparks this new life. And so in Medea, it's the king of Athens, who makes a deal with Medea so that she can live in his kingdom once she's banished, and that sparks her plan. In The Awakening, it's Mademoiselle Reisz, a strong woman who plays piano and decides to live her life the way she wants it, and that inspires Edna. So what does this mean for you? Okay, so in your life, and because of these novels, I believe that women should be able to make their own decisions regardless of society. So because of these characters and powerful women throughout history, we are allowed to make our own decisions and without having to be banished from society or having to commit suicide. So I can be that person and not that.